Hello everybody, welcome to ChinesePod. I'm Joy.
And I'm Joe.
And today we're going to talk about the Chinese character Lao, which means old. What is the very first word you've learned with this word?
Probably teacher, 老师.
Lao shi, so that's third tone, first tone, of course. And that literally means an old master, but not really physically old, just somebody who's esteemed. Have you ever heard of Lao Tzu, the Chinese philosopher?
Oh, yeah. Wait, how would you say that in English? I think he has many names to go with, like lousy, lazy, laozi. In German, we say laozi.
Okay, that's actually pretty accurate pronunciation-wise. So you can Google Lao Tzu, and he's the founder of Taoism. So actually, Lao here, he's old and he's esteemed. So it basically means an old, esteemed teacher. So we're going to be talking about all the different uses of Lao. Sometimes it's physical age. Sometimes it's sort of a word that goes with another word, and it rolls off quite nicely off your tongue. And there are even some animals, but the animals aren't old. So we'll talk about this later. Joe, what's your last name in Chinese?
Li, 木子李.
Mu zi li. So we can see the word as mu on the top, zi on the bottom. So mu zi li. We can say this is a way to introduce our last names. So if we're really close, I would call you Lao Li. Not because you're old, but sort of like
thank you.
Endearing. Like sort of like, you know, when people say like old Lee, or they're like,
like old pal?
Yeah. Like my old pal Lee. So they're kind of like old Lee or something like that. So Lao Li.
So could I call you Lao Lin?
That would be like calling my dad.
Oh.
Because you usually, and I'm like, where's my dad? Lao Ling. So it's a term for a guy. Like when you say like old Lee, it's not like old Sarah or a Mrs. So this is like an endearing way. So you can say Lao Ling, Lao Li, Lao Liu, whatever the person's last name is. And you would use it when you have a close relationship to them, almost as if they were your family friend or like the neighborhood, you know, tea, drink seller or something like that.
The first definition of Lao that you probably learn in your classes or in your textbook is just plain old.
Literally very old.
Do we have some examples where it's really just in the meaning of old?
So for example, we can say old street, that's 老街.
老街.
老街, third tone, first tone. So we can talk about old street, like a physically old street, but usually it has some sort of historical significance and it's known. So people are like, take me to the old street. Take me to 老街. Do you know any old streets in Europe?
I mean, we have probably the Champs-Élysées. Oh no, that's too big. A small. Oh, we have some very small roads that are called 老街 in Germany. But I can think of one example which is in London, which is actually called Old Street. It's a subway station and a like small street.
So this name of the street is Old Street. So 老街, or we can say 伦敦老街, the London Old Street. All right, let me give you a sentence for the next time you're in Beijing. 我要到北京老街吃烤鸭. I want to go to Beijing Old Street to have roast duck. So 前门大街, that's a famous place for roast duck.
Sounds good.
Ooh, yeah, now I'm hungry. Okay, the next old word we're going to talk about, old songs. These are our classics. That's 老歌.
老歌.
老歌. So third tone, first tone. Joe, do you know any 老歌?
So you mean like Backstreet's back, all right.
How old are you? That's not old enough to be a 老歌.
To me, that sounds very old. No?
Oh my gosh, are you super young?
Maybe.
Super young, a little bit older, like a classic.
Oh, you mean like ABBA, Queen, Beatles? Okay.
老歌, those are our classics. Or we can say 经典老歌. 经典老歌 is our classic old songs. What about some Chinese ones?
I learned one in my Chinese class before. Wait, what was that? 你问我爱你有多深，我爱你有几分。But what's What's the name of that?
月亮代表我的心. So that's a classic by Deng Lijun or Teresa Tang. So you can go Google it. The song is amazing. The moon represents my heart, as Joe's beautiful singing is. So that's one of the absolute Chinese classics. 老歌 or 经典老歌. Joe, 你喜欢老歌吗?
还好.
Joe doesn't really like them because he's too young.
I'm more like the Backstreet Boys guy.
So you can say, 我不太喜欢老歌. I don't really like old songs, maybe because there's not as much of an emotional connection.
Yeah.
我很喜欢老歌.
Do you?
I do.
Oh.
I can appreciate them as a not super old person. Okay, let's talk about another thing that's old and has a lot of nostalgic memories. Our old home or our childhood home is 老家,老家.
So it's again third and first tone, right?
Third, first,
家.
exactly. And this home is not so much that it's physically old, but like a childhood. So it has a lot of memories that's tied to it. Joe, 你的老家在哪儿?
我的老家在柏林.
Ah, 柏林. 你想念你的老家吗?
一点儿.
Okay, now we're going to talk about titles that use the word 老, but these people are not actually old. So the most common one you hear is husband and wife. And husband is 老公,
老公.
老公, which literally translates to
Old. 公 is
like grandpa.
grandpa.
Or old
grandpa.
Old man, old grandpa, 老公. These are colloquial, so you're not going to find them in an official document. 老公, husband, and wife is 老婆.
老婆.
And 婆 is
Wife, ma,
like grandma.
grandma. So it's like old pa and old ma.
Old pa and old ma.
But it's a wife and husband.
Wife
husband
and
wife.
Okay, let's do a dialogue. You can be 老公. I
Okay.
can be 老婆.
Okay.
So I'm going to call my 老公. 老公,你什么时候回家?
老婆,我还在工作.
Oh, again? I guess I'm gonna go shopping by myself. 那我自己去逛街.
你去吧. Now that we used old lady and old pa to speak about wife and husband, how would we actually use 老 to speak about my mother or my father?
So your mother and your father, it's your old man and your old lady, right? So that's 老妈, my mother, old mother, or 老爸, old father, my father. Now we would use this when we're complaining about your mother or your father, or just kind of making a joke when you're calling them, like, 老妈, my mother. All right, I'm gonna tell you something my mother.
Hello. We are so glad that you're enjoying this video so far, but you're not getting the full lesson here. The full lesson and the rest of this video are available on our site, ChinesePod.com. Give it a try and see how much more we have to offer. We have exercises, expanded examples, vocabulary, and downloadable material. You cannot get that here on YouTube. So visit our website today, enter GRACE as the promo code, and get 20% off our premium subscriptions. I'll see you at ChinesePod.com.
But hurry, only the first 300 subscribers are allowed to redeem this deal. Use promo code GRACE for 20% off your entire premium subscription and launch your real learning experience.
ChinesePod, ChinesePod.